What is going on, everybody? It's time for another X Factor Daily show. You already know what it means. Another day equals another X Factor Daily. So let's just dive right into yesterday's slate, Friday, December 16th. Full slate of games, a lot of fun games. I was really tuned in yesterday to the NBA game, so I'm ready to dive into it. The Kings went on the road and defeated the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons fall to 8-23. Not a great start there, but the Kings improved to 16-12. And if you've been keeping an eye on the channel, you saw that Kevin Hoyter video in regards to the Sacramento Kings and how, you know, they might be in the best position they've been as a franchise in a really, really long time. This fan base has been dying for a playoff competitor, for a team to get in the playoffs and to potentially make a little bit of noise. And before the season, this was like my team. I called them the Atlanta Hawks from a few years ago, where they kind of surprised everybody, made the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think making the Western Conference Finals is out of the cards for the Kings. A lot would have to go their way. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis would have to continue to do what they do. But in my opinion, not out of the question. I love this Kings team. They win 122 to 113. The high man was De'Aaron Fox at 24 and Sabonis at 23. So a really dynamic duo brewing out there in Sacramento. And then their bench continues to be pretty solid with Malik Monk and Terrence Davis. There was no Davion Mitchell for the Kings. So Matthew Dellavedova logged some minutes. That's a name you probably haven't heard in a minute, but he's still in the NBA and still getting NBA minutes. But for the Pistons, Bogey continues to play really, really well, but nothing else to really write home about other than Jalen Duren kind of balling out 15 and 14. Moving on, the Atlanta Hawks defeated the Charlotte Hornets 125 to 106. Not much of a game out there in Charlotte. Gordon Hayward did return. He shot 3 and 9, had 9 points. Just a team that needs to blow it up. A team that needs to kind of start fresh. Let LaMelo kind of, have to develop parts of his games that need developing in terms of being able to take over games. He was really, really good yesterday, but of course didn't result in winning. They need to trade guys like Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward, Mason Plumlee, Terry Rozier, those types of dudes, and get whatever they can. Before the Hawks, the season of turmoil looks they're just a 500 ball club that has a lot going on. You don't really know what you're going to get every night, but they did just beat up on a really, really bad Charlotte Hornets team. So they did what they were supposed to do, and we'll see that their schedule kind of opens up a little bit here over the next few weeks. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do with that. Moving on to the Orlando Magic upsetting the Boston Celtics. The Celtics did welcome Robert Williams back, which is pretty cool. They're finally at full strength, if you will. Al Horford was ejected. Not a very, I don't want to say common play for Al Horford, but a little uncharacteristic out of him. Getting ejected on a flagrant two foul, just kind of low blow to guy. It was really interesting. Before the Magic, Paulo Banchero with 25 and 5, Mo Wagner with 25 and 8. His brother Franz played pretty well, 19 points. This Magic team is just fun to watch. Caleb always said that they are like league pass must watch, and I couldn't have said it better myself. For the Celtics, Jason Tatum played pretty well, 31. Jaylen Brown had 26. But in terms of the other guys, not much happening. They returned down to earth a little bit with their shooting. Shot 11 of 46 from three. They shot 46 threes. How crazy is that? But the Cleveland Cavaliers are a team, and Donovan Mitchell is a guy that should be on people's MVP radar. We just released a pod. You guys should have seen it today, where we dive into our top five. But Donovan Mitchell is a common name amongst us that we discuss in terms of should he be getting MVP love, and I think he should be. He's a bona fide bucket, 7 days a week, 41 points on 14 of 24 shooting. Darius Garland had 20 and 10. Evan Mobley played pretty well. They're pretty deep. Before the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton was 17 and 14. No rebounds. How bizarre is that from Hallie? But they're just the Pacers, man. Benedict Mathurin played really well. Aaron Nesmith played pretty well, but they're another 500 team that can be fun to flip onto and watch, but also, they have a ceiling. And but this Cavs team, that's the one to watch. The 76ers beat up on a broken Golden State Warriors team and won 118 to 106. Joel Embiid continues to do what Joel Embiid does, 34 points, 13 rebounds. What can't you say about him? I know that I get pretty adamant about how I don't enjoy watching this 76er team. I was open to the fact that they might be, a title contender this year, but I just don't enjoy watching them play basketball. I think Joel Embiid does a really good job at manipulating the officials. James Harden's the same way. Just a team that I don't really enjoy watching, and that's all right, but they are a really good ball club. And for the Warriors, Kevon Looney almost had a triple double. Dante DiVincenzo finally looked himself. Jordan Poole played pretty well, but no Steph Curry. Klay Thompson shot the ball terribly. You're not going to win very many games. The Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors. This game was very, very good. I watched it pretty much from the beginning to end. The Toronto Raptors came out and punched the Nets in the mouth. Like they went up almost 20 points in the first half. Fred VanVleet was balling. Scotty Barnes played pretty well. Pascal was Pascal. But this Brooklyn Nets team just kept fighting, kept fighting. And then in the second half, they shot like over 65% from the floor, something astronomical like that. Kyrie Irving ended up hitting a game winner. Yuta Watanabe hit a huge three to put him up by two. Kevin Durant, 10 of 15 from the floor. They did not miss much in the second half. It was unbelievable. They kept playing. They kept shooting. They kept scoring. It was really, really good basketball. Nicholas Claxton with 15 and 10. Ben Simmons has continued to find his role around KD and Kyrie. He had 10, 5, and 5. Like I said, for the Raptors, Fred VanVleet balled out. He had 39 points. Scotty Barnes had 26, 3 and 3. Just a really, really good game. In the first half, you thought, oh my goodness, the Raptors are going to blow out the Nets. The Nets surge back, go up 8. The Raptors fight back, get up 2, and then tie the game late into the game. And then Kyrie hits a step back game winning 3. Beautiful basketball was played out in Toronto. The Knicks absolutely destroyed the Bulls 114-91. And we might need to do a video on the Bulls. That might be something that I sit down and do. I mean, this Chicago Bulls team, I was pretty high on coming into the year. I thought they were going to be pretty good. I thought people were kind of undervaluing them, but they weren't. 11 and 17. You look at their back score, nothing at all stands out. Zach LaVine had 17, DeRozan had 14, Patrick Williams had 10, but like nobody is that guy in Chicago. They might need to just blow it up from the core and kind of start over. But it's a weird time for the Chicago Bulls. Before the Knicks, they keep playing 16 and 13. I'm glad Derrick Rose got his moment. In a game, I heard Michael Wilbon talking about this during the Laker game. He was like, in a game in which like this has historical reference with the Bulls and the Knicks, and with Tom Thibodeau returning, Derrick Rose returning, like the Bulls just look so disinterested in this game. They were up early in the first quarter, but then after that, the Knicks said, no, this is our game. And the Bulls never really fought that. And I thought that was really, really interesting. Quentin Grimes played really well. Jalen Brunson continues to play well. RJ Barrett played great. Julius Randle. Just a really, really decent roster out there in New York. The Timberwolves, the Rudy Gobert list, Cat list, D'Angelo Russell list. Timberwolves went to Oklahoma City and got a big win over the Thunder, 112-110. Another pretty good game where the Thunder had one of their quarters in that third quarter that I talked about before. Man, they just go through quarters where they just turn up and play really, really good ball. But they do fall here. Shea continues to do what he does, 35, 7, and 5. And for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Naz Reid needs to get more minutes. Period, point blank. He does so much on a basketball floor, spacing the floor, attacking the rim, defending. Like he doesn't really have a weakness when it comes to being a big man in this league. He can stretch the floor. He can score around the bucket. He has nice feel, good footwork. He's a really, really good player, just period. The Dallas Mavericks son the Trailblazers, 130-110. Damian Lillard did what he does. But Luka Doncic, 33, 6, and 9. He got a hammer time, big dunk over one of the Portland Trailblazers defenders and ended up carrying his team to the 130-110 final. The Lakers defeated the Denver Nuggets 126-108 in what was a pretty interesting game. So I thought the Nuggets kind of took their foot off the gas whenever Anthony Davis was ruled out. So Anthony Davis got dinged up in the first quarter. It looked like he just like re-aggravated a previous injury in his foot. It just looked like he went to like explode up. He scored, and then whenever he came down, he didn't want to put much weight on that right foot. But he should be fine. It doesn't look like a long-term issue. But the Nuggets were kind of just coasting with 8 points, but the Lakers kept keeping it close at 6 in the third quarter. It was about a 6 point game. And Mark Jackson on the broadcast did a great job. He was like, the Nuggets need to calm down. They're playing with fire here. And they were. Thomas Bryant played really well. LeBron played really, really good. Dennis Schroeder played well. Patrick Beverly actually played pretty solid. But the team is so much better when Patrick Beverly's not on the floor. Period. Point blank. Like Patrick Beverly hurts this team in more ways than one. Maybe that's another video that we could dive into. But the unsung hero off the bench yesterday was Max Christie. He only had 6 and 3, but just his energy, his length, his athleticism, he kept plays alive. Things that don't go in the box score, he was doing, and that's exactly what you need from a guy like him. And Austin Reeves, it was really the bench for the Lakers. Thomas Bryant, Russ, Reeves, and Max Christie all played extremely well in Anthony Davis's absence. Looking ahead to today, there's about 7 games, I believe. Yep, 7 games, all starting at 4 o'clock, where the Washington Wizards go on the road to play the Clippers. The Clippers are 6.5 point favorites. I'm going to roll with the Clippers. I think they're starting to find their groove a little bit. I think they continue to roll against the Wizards. The Heat go on the road and play the San Antonio Spurs, and I actually have the Spurs winning this one. I think the Heat are terrible. I don't think they're a good ball club. They got a few dudes here, a few dudes there. I just don't like this organization, if I'm being quite honest. The Dallas Mavericks go on the road and play the Cavs, which could be considered the game of the night as long as Luka and those boys play. It is a back-to-back for them, so I have the Cavs coming out on top. The Trailblazers go on the road and play the Houston Rockets. The Rockets are starting to play really well. I'm going to go with the Rockets. I think that they continue to, string together some good wins. It's December. A team here and there typically go on runs around this time. So the Rockets, I think, continue their roll. The Jazz go on the road and play the Bucks in what should be another pretty fun game tonight. I do have the Bucks winning, though. The Oklahoma City Thunder host the Memphis Grizzlies. I got the Grizzlies, man. The Grizzlies seem like they're starting to click and find their rhythm, find their niche, be the number one team in the West right now. They just seem like, it's their time right now. And then, probably right now, the game of the night is the Suns going against the New Orleans Pelicans. A lot of heat on this matchup, stemming from their playoff series last year. I do have the Suns coming out on top tonight. Big Devin Booker and Mikal Bridges game. All right, that does it for me. Appreciate you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. As always,